So we have, next we have Dr. Renuka Sornaraja. She is a scientific advisor, heart, valve, and tissue bank, Lady Ridgeway Hospital and Colombo, and scientific and regulatory consultant, Oxford Cell and Tissue Bank, John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford. She's going to speak on a very interesting subject called soft skills and cross-fertilization of ideas in career guidance and training. Wow. So, Dr. Renuka Sornaraja, all stage is yours. So I'm going to put your slides, the document here. Do you want me to share it right now and let me know what's your plans on? You have to unmute yourself. Oh yeah, now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I'll just wait.
Do you want me to put the slides on now?
Yes, so I'll start talking and you can put them on.
Okay.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to talk to you. And these are a very interesting series of seminars during this COVID period. So it was very interesting to hear about the current situation in Jaffna regarding career guidance in the northern eastern provinces, and also how it could be improved. Particularly interesting to hear how we should outreach, some sort of outreach activities to parents as well, not just the students. Now, in terms of practical outcomes from all of these seminars, also Amina, it was really a pleasure for me to be a part of Mina's dream, as it were, to putting all these new ideas into place of how you can improve English at the university, because of course it is a very important part, English speaking skills, communication skills. Then looking into the future to make sure that students get the jobs or career opportunities that they suit them and suit the community. So the title of my talk really is about soft skills and cross-fertilization. It's really about getting ideas from different people, in other words, people with different skills. It just makes it much better because it helps to creativity, it helps to bring new ideas into anything that you do. And the background to this really is from all the years that I've spent training, putting together labs, as well as inspecting organizations. These are mainly health organizations and scientific organizations in several different countries. So what I found was many students are very good with their hard skills, so they know what they need to do from a technical point of view, but there's a huge gap when they start work. So that side of it is what we need to think about strengthening. So in terms of careers, the first slide really is about what's important and how people choose their careers. So as we all know, it's their interests, family pressure, job availability, security, pay, and the awkward thing that was mentioned by Mr. Nityavarman is that perceived status of a job, things like that, which are very important because people don't recognize the contribution that every person who works. It's so important because they help to make sure that society functions effectively. So can I have the next slide? Please, yeah, okay. So what are the barriers and limitations? And this again was alluded to earlier. The financial constraints, cultural, social barriers, winners and losers, and this is a big problem at the moment because I think there are too many books out there. If you go to any bookstore with, winning, getting what you want, your first job is to become a CEO, etc., etc. And those actually, it is a problem because the younger children who read those books think that their first job is their dream job. they forget it's actually the journey, not the destination that matters. So that is another problem that we have to take into account, in other words, expectations. Then, of course, that things change. So, of course, those of us who are in our 50s and 60s, we never had the internet. We had never had any of that. So we have to take into account changes and the emotional barriers that make us fix in a particular way of thinking and refusing to change even when everything around us changes. And as Mina very clearly pointed out, it's about language as well. So it's communication. Now the next slide, please. So in terms of the traditional approach, and this was alluded to by the first speaker, we focus on certain things. We look at the students, ask about their interests, their entry requirements for courses, etc., etc. And that's very much the next stage. So you go from school to your, to perhaps your sort of college, you know, or your degree or whatever, or your technical school, or look for anything else. So it's very much focused on that short sort of phase. So can I have the next slide? So what do we need to do? I think at this stage it is possibly more important for us to help younger people and older and mature people to understand and become aware of their strengths and weaknesses, their aptitudes, their personality, encourage empathy, curiosity, improve their communication skills, and provide networking opportunities and mentoring. So that is something perhaps that a lot of people can do. We can do it over the web. We don't need to have a face-to-face contact with people, but this is something that would make a lot of difference. And also speak to them about the journey during your work. You know, they say now that all of us will have several careers during our lifetime. So maybe we need to think about all of that. That is just not just one step to the next step and so on. It's not linear. Can I have the next slide? So in terms of all these skills, there's the hard skills, the technical skills you learn in a course at the university, and then the soft skills. They're more kind of woolly because you can't actually quantify them. But in the work context, they are the ones that underpin your performance and success. How you communicate with people, social etiquette, so in terms of also how you use emails. People don't respond to emails. You know, people haven't been taught that actually it's only polite when someone sends an email to respond. People are not aware that, you know, what they put up on social media in the current context is anyone can see it a lot of the time. You know, it's not private. And all those things are things that we need to teach the younger people, because the one thing that has made the whole world talk to each other is the internet and all the social media, and everyone's on it. So I believe 57% of Sri Lankans all have the mobile phones which they use, and many of them on social media. You know, all the stuff that you know about the fake news, all the rest of it. So we need to really think about that. Then, of course, the usual thinking skills, leadership, followership, and teamship. Those are the latter two are very important too. And all the other, you know, managing stress, resilience, human values, and decision making. So all those things need to be a part of career guidance, not just, you know, looking at courses, what marks you get. Did I have the next slide? Yeah. So soft skills really is about the changes that are taking place in the work environment, and we need to inform our students about it. And also people who are in work, who are trying to come back into work, who have left work for whatever reason. And also we need to have, if you look at hard skills on the left-hand side, you can see you have all your, you know, your aptitudes, your interests and so on, which funnel down into your hard skills. So you become, you know, whatever, the engineer or the carpenter or whoever, because all those are because you can see things and you know how to work things. But if you look on the right-hand side, the soft skills, you have the person and then you develop them as soft skills. And the wonderful thing is that you can transfer them between your fields, between occupations and job titles. So they're there for life. It's not just for that particular job that you're doing. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about is about cross-fertilization of ideas. And I was told I should explain it because some people thought it was to do with agriculture. It's not actually, but it is in a way, because when you cross-fertilize, you get, it's supposed to be better progeny, and rather than if you have self-fertilized. So from the point of view of cross-fertilization of ideas, I mean, we should be, Sri Lanka is on the crossroads, of the seas, and that's why we have these, international, powers wanting to come here. And if you look at that little map, which is in that picture in the middle, you'll see that people in the old Silk Road used to come to Mena to actually trade. So it was an important route at that point. So we can use the fact that we are at a crucial juncture, both from history and also from geography. So cross-fertilization means if you have people with different interests or different specialities, you can generate new ideas and solve problems. But more importantly, it teaches you respect for other people, because other people come with different viewpoints, and humility, so that you're willing to continue to learn. Now, if you look at the photograph that I put in the bottom three, where these were actually a restaurant, this was in London, which was made up of just containers. So these were old container trucks. And they just took the containers and turned each of them into different things. Even the toilets, if you look on the right, were made up of just those steel drums. So it's a way of repurposing. So for someone to do that, you have to have someone who knows something about art, about design, an engineer, somebody who knows plumbing. So all can come together to build a place where you could actually have a business. And at the same time, you recycled everything. So it ticks a lot of boxes. Now, if we look at how the main thing is, how do we encourage such thinking? And really, if we ourselves learn a new skill, whether with our hands or with thinking a new language, if we watch an expert at work, or adult learning, art and design, so we ourselves can do that, and then we can teach others to do that as well. So that is very important. That's the only way we can encourage such thinking. And of course, we have the important aspects of networking and mentoring. And this is something particularly people who are outside, within Sri Lanka and outside Sri Lanka, perhaps can sign up to a program that will help to mentor students, and if they have questions they can ask you. Now, I'm by nature quite a practical person. I like to see a result at the end of something. And that's why it was wonderful to work with Meena and Professor Meena Sendilnathan and work at the University of Jaffna. But one of the things that I wonder is whether we could use, we've got lots of public libraries, so we've got coaching, training sessions and public spaces, and we live in Udaville on KK's Road. So we go past the little library there, and it's hardly used, and it's only older people who come to read newspapers most of the time. The buildings are there, they're managed and looked after. Can't we use some of them to hold classes, make them centers for learning, so that young people come there and we can teach, or we can talk to them and we can coach them. And with that, I just want to summarize what I have to say, and that is the importance of learning soft skills, and that career guidance should also include a very large component of soft skills, so that the children learn and it becomes a lifelong skill that they have learned. And that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Can't hear.